Bolts Nation, welcome to another episode of the Bolts Block Party. I am your co-host, joined by the always stout Braydon Coburn, and we said right off the rip, we get a new guy in the building, we got to put him on the Bolts Block Party podcast. It's almost like an initiation, if you will. So, Kobe, it is our pleasure to welcome Tanner Jeannot here officially to the Tampa Bay Lightning family. Welcome. I mean, it's probably been a whirlwind for you the last few days, so we appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us today.
Yeah, no problem. Super pumped to be here. Like you said, it's been a whirlwind, so I haven't really got to just kind of slow down and just kind of realize everything that's happening. But yeah, it's been great, and I'm super excited to be here. It's an awesome place.
Well, obviously, he's new to our fan base, Kobe, so let's
look out for the podcast bump. You know, we're famous for that.
Yeah, this is true.
Really?
You know,
you come on the podcast, and then the next game, it's just a monster game, just so you're prepared.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's get our fans acclimated with who you are and your background, since you are new to our fans. You've got a little bit of history with with one of our very own Tampa Bay Lightning players, Braydon Point. You guys both Moose Jaw Warriors up there in the Western Hockey League, known as the Oxbow Ox up there in Saskatchewan. And I feel like you and I are always talking about those Sask kids. What is it about Saskatchewan and the products?
When I saw Tanner got traded here, I was so excited. I was like, more Sask boys. Like, it's just, you can never have enough. And I actually text Julian that. I was like, you can't have enough Sask guys. Bring them in. Like, this is going to be great.
So what is it about that area and, just the hockey talent that comes out of that specific area?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the Western League, and it's kind of, I guess, known for developing like a little, a harder style of play, I guess. Obviously, there's lots of skill in it and everything, but just, I guess, a little more blue collar than your typical maybe skill guys. So it's just always the way I've been brought up. Hard work trumps everything.
Sure.
For me. So yeah, I just try to be the hardest working guy out there as much as I can. It's gotten me to, living my dream today. So
yeah,
just going to continue to do that, and obviously, hopefully have some more success.
Well, what I like about Saskatchewan, like every small town, doesn't matter if it's 100 people. Oxbow, I think, is like what, 2,500.
Yeah, not even.
Wow.
Maybe half that.
But every town has a rink and a curling rink,
of course,
and a ball diamond and a swimming pool.
Yeah.
The amenities are, pretty lucky for people in Saskatchewan.
So you're a multi-sport guy,
Yeah, I used to speed swim. I used to play baseball, school sports, volleyball, badminton, all that kind of stuff. So
we found also your summertime job used to be you were a lifeguard.
Yeah,
great way to make some money.
Yeah, oh, it was great. That's no better summer job for a kid.
How long is the summer in Saskatchewan thow? Like 7 weeks max, like
3 months ish.
Okay, really? So it gets warm enough.
We would usually open
3.5 days.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it would be long summers in Saskatchewan, but that's cool, man. And also, don't you have some other Tampa ties? Wasn't Brett Howden who was one of our picks 2016, I believe. He was like a 27th round or something like that. But also Tampa ties as there as well. Like, did those guys, have you really had a chance to talk to them about, our system and things that, Tampa has been known for all these years? I mean, what was kind of those conversations maybe like?
Yeah, I'm really good friends with Brett. We played 4 years together in Moose Jaw, so we're still close. And I talked to him, when it happened, and he said, "You're going to love it there. It's a great organization." So and then McDonough was in Nashville, and he was telling me all really good things too. So, yeah, everything I've heard has been just stellar coming from guys that have been here. And obviously the reputation of this organization speaks for itself just with the success it's had. So, and not to mention coming to Florida is not too bad either. So, but yeah, I'm super excited for everything, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
So the Oxbow Ox, I mean, how did you get the nickname? I mean, and obviously I'm assuming that came at a young age, but the scrapping element of your game, how does that develop? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I actually didn't get that nickname until I guess when I came into the league. Okay. In Nashville, we had a line. It was me, Colton Sissons, and Yakov Trenin, and they nicknamed us the Herd line. Okay. And each one got like an animal that you were associated with. Yak was the Yak, Colton was Colt, so and then I was the Ox from Oxbow. So that's how I got that, and I guess it just kind of came from my physical play. I like to, I'm a bigger guy, and I know it's a difference that I can make in the game. I can create space for my line mates, turn some momentum maybe, and so it's always something that I've done. I like to get in there on the forecheck, be hard to play against, and then for fighting, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. I'm not really going out there looking for fights, but I'm always going to stick up for my teammates.
Well, and maybe not looking for them, but you led the NHL with 14 fights last season, tied for 3rd in the league with 9 this season, 4th in the league with 213 hits. I would say your game is pretty physical.
Yeah.
Do you, I know one of your first coaches was Jeff Odgers, and Jeff Odgers was, I just missed him when I first came to the league in Atlanta. And I don't know if you remember Jeff Odgers, but he was famous for the big handlebar mustache.
I believe so, yeah.
Rough and tumble guy.
Yeah.
He was, I think he played like over 800 games in the NHL.
Wow.
And he just kind of had that style that was like in your face and rancher guy. He was a big rancher guy.
Yeah.
Can you talk about him a little bit and the influence he's had on you?
Yeah. I never had him as a coach, but I played with his son a couple times in Moose Jaw and in Yorkton a little bit. So, but yeah, he's still farming, working on the farm, and just great character guy. He was a guy that I remember I was an invite to a camp in the WHL. I wasn't drafted or anything, so I remember confiding in him and just asking him, how can I stand out? What do I need to do? How do I take this next step? And he gave me some advice, and he's just that kind of guy. He'll help you out if you ask for it, and he's tough as nails too. As you can, if you look him up. So yeah, it was. He's a great person. I thank him a lot for helping me and just giving me the advice that he has, and
So obviously you're still pretty new to the league, just a few years in now. And we like to talk about some of the inspirations and guys that you looked up to growing up, but like you're still such a young guy. I feel like the guys that you grew up, maybe idolizing or watching around the league are guys you're now playing against. Like who though still are some of those guys, like when you get out there on the ice, you're like, you still can't believe that you're playing against them or with them or what the case may be.
Yeah. The more you're in the league, the less starstruck you get. Sure. But definitely, I remember my first year in the league and just playing against, the Crosbys, the Taves, the Ovechkins, those guys. It's crazy that you're on the same ice as them and doing the thing you love to do. And so those are the guys that I kind of grew up watching and just saying one day I want to be like them, play against them, do that kind of stuff. So. It's definitely, like I said, I'm living the dream. I wouldn't change it for anything.
So who were you modeling your game after? If you had to compare your game to somebody.
Whose poster did you have on your wall
like
growing up?
Well, actually, I was always a big Pavel Datsyuk fan. I really liked watching him. Okay. Not really a guy that I'm modeling my game after. Right. He had a ton of skill. But honestly, I don't know. I would just try to watch and add – maybe players that I like to watch or, Taves, I liked watching him. I grew up, World Juniors are a big thing in Canada, so watching him in the World Juniors and then just kind of watched him as a player, just the details and things like that. I'm a big detail guy, so, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a player that I said, that's exactly what I want to be like, but I like taking things here and there from each style of game, and I know what I do good, and if there's something that I'm watching and I'm like, no, I can't do that, that's not me, or if there's something that, maybe I can add that into my game, then that's what I like to do. I just like to watch and keep adding, keep getting better every day.
So obviously you guys played at different times. Do you feel that this generation of player has a little bit more of an advantage than when you did with the technology, right? So like we know like Kucherov, for example, is meticulous. As soon as he gets off the ice every shift, if he didn't pass something right or something went wrong, like he is studying the board basically. So do you feel that they have more of an advantage now than when you were playing? I mean, I'm not saying we're
I
not
don't know
going
if
that
that's an
school.
advantage. I don't know. Sometimes you don't want to see it, right?
Right.
You come off and you're like, I don't want to see that again.
Sure. But I mean, it's to help your game, right? It's to help you get better. I mean, do you feel technology? I mean, because again,
Well, and
different
that's
eras.
one of the things I love about Tanner is you look back at his career and he's never been the same 2 years in a row. Like he's always getting better.
Right.
There's a rate of improvement. You don't go from being undrafted in the WHL in the Western Hockey League in Canada to undrafted in the NHL to you played in the East Coast a little bit, American League, and then making a huge impact in the NHL.
Right.
And then coming to a Stanley Cup contender that wants you.
Right.
You know, that shows a trajectory that very few guys have. And I think that just speaks to Tanner's, I don't know, his motivation, his drive to get better. And I think that's probably has a little bit of chip on your shoulder along the way too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I've never been drafted. I've never been the highly touted prospect or draft pick or things like that. So I always had to work to be noticed and just to get my name out there. So my dad always tells me to control what I can control. And so that's what I did. And I knew that I could control my work ethic and my attitude and things like that. And just putting in the extra work to get better, improve the things that I needed to improve. And I'm still doing it today. Like I'm not done getting better. I'm going to keep working every single day, and I'm going to keep improving as long as I can. So that's definitely a big part of who I am and my game. Just hard work, compete.
Grinder.
Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to pivot because I wanted to ask a junior question because you played with Pointer in Moose Jaw. Was he a big Crocs guy back then? I know that he is here now, and he's been for the last
Subway,
few years.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever rocked the Crocs back in junior, but
well, you're in Moose Jaw, so you probably have the full snowmobile boots on and
the Crocs with the fur in them.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I never saw him rock those there, but I can definitely see him wearing those now for sure.
Oh, and he said the pair that he has is the only pair he's ever had, which makes you go like, really, dude? Like you wear those like every day. It's kind of funky, man. You seem like also like you're kind of an outdoorsy guy. It seems like you're out there like wake surfing and stuff like that. I mean, Tampa is a huge, obviously outdoor, we're a water coastal community. I'm sure you're probably going to be looking forward to some of that stuff. Like what are some of the kinds of things you like to do off the ice?
Yeah. Like you said, I love being out on the boat, like fishing.
Okay.
Doing that kind of stuff, golfing, obviously. I got a little guy now. I got an 11-month-old at home, so
Congrats.
thank you. I haven't had as much time to be doing that stuff.
Sure.
But I just love being outside. My wife and I, we love going to the Rockies in Canada and going hiking and things like that. So that's me.
What have you learned in year one, dad life? Like what's been the biggest change for you as a dad in year one?
Just the time of the use of time, I guess.
Time management, yeah.
Yeah. So there's always things to be doing, and when he's awake, you're obviously busy all the time, and then when he's napping, you're like, oh, I just want to sit on the couch and watch TV or nap or something. But that's your time to get your other work done that needs to be done. So just time management.
Yeah.
But I mean, being a dad's awesome. He's turning into a great kid.
Are you hands-on? Are you like right in there changing diapers? Or is it like the football? It's like, hey, honey, he wants you.
Yeah. No, I'm changing diapers, doing all that stuff. I mean, my wife does so much already, like being on the road. We're gone quite a bit. So she's a trooper for sure, and she does so much. So when I'm home, I like to be as involved as possible and help out as much as I can. So,
And you and your wife, you guys were involved in like a kind of a cool thing in Nashville. I saw you guys had the diaper drive, mother to mother.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty unique.
Huge.
A lot of young guys
Yep.
don't get like involved in the community until a little bit later in their career. And I was really excited that you have that part of you that wants to give back to the community.
Yeah. So last year was Mother to Mother, and this year was a different one called Nurture the Next, and same kind of thing. Just help parents that need some help with some newborns, car seats, diapers, whatever it may be. I just thought it was a really good initiative, and being a new dad and worrying about all the new things that you have to worry about, I just thought it was a great thing, and obviously the Preds Foundation helped me out a lot with it. So I just thought it was a really good thing to just help parents out that have those new stresses and worries, because I'm in a position to be able to help. So I just thought it was good.
That's good, because I mean, I know we do diaper drives and things like that the Lightning Foundation do, but thinking about the different charities that, you know, our guys are involved with, whether that's pediatric cancer or, you know, the spring and women's initiatives or whatever, obviously points for Paul with mental health awareness. I don't recall if we've had a player current or in the past that's had an initiative quite like that. So that's pretty awesome, again, that you're the new guy, but you can bring that, I love that element to the team as well.
Hey, so when you came into the dressing room for the first time, you know, there's certain guys you play against and you're like, oh, I hate that guy. I just can't stand that dude.
Right.
And then you become teammates with him, and then you're like, I love that guy.
Yes.
As I know you've just got here, but is there anybody already that you're like, you know, this guy's a good guy, I'm glad I'm on his team?
I mean, I was probably that guy for a lot of guys. Sure. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's a great guy. There wasn't really anyone that I would go head to head, but you know,
butt heads with,
smashing heads
right.
together on this team. Obviously, you hated them because they were so good and hard to play against. So everybody was kind of like that. But no, I don't know. It's there's no one I can really think of that I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm going to be playing with this guy, right? But no, it's a really good group. When I first got traded, I was getting on the plane back to Nashville from Arizona, and there was a good bunch of guys that reached out and welcomed me, and so it was just awesome just to feel that welcomeness right away and in the midst of all that craziness. So and then getting in here and meeting them all, and it's just a great group, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
One thing we hear, and you know, for any of the new guys that we've talked to, is that family-knit environment of this team and the welcoming factor right away, like you said, like to just feel like that wholesome family-knit environment. Hey, come on over. We're going to cook a meal for you and your wife, and that's who this team is. And I think that resonates in the locker room, and then it permeates outside the building as well. And that nucleus is why I think this team has been so successful.
And it helps a lot because, you know, you've never been traded.
Nope.
I've been traded a couple times.
You have.
And it's a weird feeling. Like, it's a different feeling. And you kind of just want to get in and just get playing hockey and just get comfortable.
Right.
And they do such a good job here of just kind of giving you all the things you need to do just to do your job.
Yeah.
Get comfortable, get your family comfortable and ready to and settled in. And then all you have to worry about is stepping on the ice and doing what you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that was, I mean, that was all I wanted to do too. Like I got here, well, I got back to Nashville that night that I found out, and you know,
was it a shock at first? I mean,
it was a shock. Yeah, like I mean, I was thinking. I mean, we were talking about a new deal for the next year, so you know, you just never know, I guess. But as soon as Nino got traded there, then things started moving, and everyone realized that Nashville was starting to trade some guys. So yeah, it was definitely a shock. I mean, I got pulled out of warm-up. I took warm-ups, and I was ready to play against Arizona, and I got pulled right out. So
that's tough.
And then I had to kind of watch that game, not knowing where I was going, and so it's just.
But was there a sense of relief a little bit when you heard it was Tampa?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, can't really pick a better spot to go. So yeah, I'm pumped to be here, and yeah.
So what gets you fired up as far as like music? Because I can't really pinpoint what kind of music you would be into. Like
I'm a big country guy.
Are you? I was gonna lean country, but I was like, nah. He's probably like the young guys, like the EDM. You know, like the Sergachevs and those guys love EDM and hip hop. And I'm like, he may look like a country guy. Nashville, maybe he kind of adapted some of those vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, country. I mean, Tampa's a huge country market. I mean, like there's a lot of country love, a lot of huge concerts that come through this area. Raymond James Stadium with Kenny Chesney and all of that. Were some of you like? Did you like to go out to Broadway? I mean, was that like any of your time out there in some of the country spots?
Yeah, definitely. Broadway's cool. All the live music, and getting to see like new upcoming artists and things like that. So,
but does country get you fired up for game time, or is it like
no? I mean, right before a game, I'm not listening to it probably, but every single time I'm in my truck, any other time, it's just I got a country playlist.
Because isn't like Pat Maroon like the DJ of the locker room?
That's a little bit. It's Spotify. They kind of like, you know. But yeah, him and Jason Berger, equipment manager.
They're the ones kind of firing up.
Yeah, no one's really like taking the bull by the horns, but Patty does jump on there every once in a while.
So I also saw you had a chance back in the day to fly with the Snowbirds. Is that like the equivalent of the Blue Angels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get a chance to fly with them?
So their Army base is in Moose Jaw. So they kind of had a relationship with the team.
Okay.
And every year they would send up like 3 players and a staff member or something like that. So
just to go fly with them.
Yeah, go fly. We did a routine. It was, I mean, you get the whole experience. You start out in the morning, you go in the morning when they get there, and you get kind of the training of the seat. This is how you eject and things like that.
Dude.
You get in
I don't
the
know,
seat.
like, I mean,
it's
I guess
cool.
they have to tell you that, right?
So when I was a
kid,
kid, my grandparents used to go to the Moose Jaw Air Show every year. So they'd bring their motorhome up there, and we'd try, you know, a little spot, and go to the Moose Jaw Air Show, and they're amazing, they're absolutely amazing. So that's unbelievable.
But they had to teach you, like, okay, you know, like if something goes wrong, you need to know to like,
Yeah, but you know, there's a big Air Force base here, right? So
big deal. Yeah. This is, I mean, right down the road. So that's why I was wondering, like, the connection. Maybe we get him in a Blue Angel and do like a round 2, man. Like,
oh man,
G-forces, the whole 9. Did that affect you?
And those planes are, I think, faster. So, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. But the Snowbirds ones are pretty old. So, but yeah, when we started doing the routine, I threw up in the plane. I was like, yeah, it was, I mean, after the first one, I kind of settled in, but I just remember we went straight up and then straight down, and all the blood just rushed up to my head, or out of my head, and my eyes went black. I told my pilot, I'm like, I can't see. I think we're going to throw up. And so I had an oxygen mask on, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. I can't find the thing, how to undo it.
Oh no.
I got it off in time, thankfully. Okay. But
so those planes, they have like little the barf bags. So they got barf bags in there.
You get a barf bag with your suit.
You did. So you make it in time into the bag?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God. It's pretty gnarly to go right into the oxygen mask.
And then it's like, what do you do at that point? You're stuck up in 30,000 feet with like a mask full of puke. Like, what do you do with that?
You come out and you're like, how was it? You got just like, I didn't even want to think about it. That's really neat though.
I mean, it's cool, but that's wow,
so future pilot perhaps, or
probably not. Probably not a future pilot. I'd do it again, obviously. Like, it's a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. So it was It was really cool. It's like a roller coaster carnival ride times like 1,000.
Okay, we're putting out that APB at MacDill Air Force Base. You know, if you need a guy, throw him up in there. Do you know what Gasparilla is?
I do not.
Oh boy, did we tell him or did we let him wait for it?
You got to.
So Gasparilla is Tampa's, century-plus old celebration where basically pirates invade the city, and it is a literally like century-plus old tradition. And Jose Gaspar and his crew of fiends basically invade the city. The mayor of the city turns over the key to the city, and then there's a massive parade down Bayshore Boulevard. But the actual flotilla, the invasion that happens, it's the last Saturday of January. There are thousands of boats coming up the channel here to downtown Tampa. I mean, it's people. The closest thing people compare it to is Mardi Gras. But yeah, it's so much to me bigger.
He's a Western Canadian guy, so it may be like the Calgary Stampede rolled into one day.
I don't know.
And Cowboys are pirates.
Okay, so you want to go that? Yeah, so
I totally get it.
Okay, so basically, you got
to speak our language here, buddy.
So I'm sorry, I do apologize for that, but yeah, you're gonna hopefully get to experience your first Gasparilla. I know the guys don't really get to though. I mean, they incorporated NHL All-Star Weekend when it was here with Gasparilla, because obviously it's a city tradition. So the league did a really good job of incorporating the two, but it seems like a lot of time we're on the road.
It just depends on the schedule. I know there was a few years
where it was.
I did the invasion. I was on one of the boats coming in, and it was wild.
It's next level. So we're gonna have to get you acclimated. And even here, we always have a game night on Gasparilla. So the entire game presentation is also transformed into that whole environment. It's very cool, and awesome. I'm excited for you to be able to experience.
How about my first Gasparilla? Somebody told me like, hey, you got to dress up as a pirate, and they were like, well, I was like, how do I look? They're like Captain Hookish, Okay. So I was like real flamboyant, Captain Hookish, and then I walk out, and we ended up at. I think the yacht club, there was a party or something like that. Yeah,
and everybody looked like...
And everyone was like hardcore, like mean-looking pirates. And I'm like, I got ruffles, and I got, Like I was like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
like,
well, you know, that's your initiation, man. Someone had to break you in. They got you good, man. But that's awesome, man. So listen, I know we could probably talk more and talk for ages with you, but we know you just got acclimated, and we want to let you get back to doing what you do. But we're excited that you've joined the team.
I'm excited to see the boom.
Yeah, we're ready to see the boom. You know, as we go down the stretch here, the playoff push is on. You know, and like I said, anything that's going to add to, you know, the potential for us to make another deep run. Obviously, we're trying to get back to our 4th straight Stanley Cup final, and you know, hopefully, you're that spark that, you know, we need to get us back there.
I think teams in the Eastern Conference, their ears perked up. They've taken notice what Tampa's doing, and you know, the team identity can hurt you so many different ways, whether it's offense, you know, be attack speed, or physicality, run you out of the building.
Sure.
And when you get to playoffs, sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully he's that grit that, you know, we're gonna need.
Hopefully he is.
Yeah,
he is that grit.
No, we know he's that grit. So, but we appreciate you. So before we let you go, what is the nickname for you in the locker room? And I had 2 names, and he said I'm wrong, but I'm gonna say, because it's like Tanner alone, because there's always an NR, right? So Tanner as alone can be a nickname, but with Jeannot, is it Tans? Is it Jenner? Or I'm not even close.
Close.
Okay.
With Jeaner. Jeaner is that's been.
I think he almost said Jeannie, right? But it was Jeaner. I was like, it's kind of
Jeaner and Gino.
Gino.
Yeah, that's kind of the 2 that are going.
Well,
Gino.
you know,
Gino.
The thing is, you come into a new locker room, you might get a new nickname. You know,
Yeah.
so you never know.
And
So
I think it might be. I think most of the guys are calling me Gino right now. So, and I was called Jeaner before. So
Jeaner, Gino, Tanner, Tanner's, whatever. You guys call him whatever you want. But he's here with us. Tanner Jeannot joins the Bolts Block Party. Good luck to you the rest of the way. We thank you guys for checking in. Kobe, myself, thank you, Bolts Nation. We love you guys. We will see you next week.